Hi, it's Dr. Rowe here. First of all, I just want to wish you a happy new year. It's 2020. Can you believe it? It's moved up so quickly. I'm just sending you this message before we head back to the UK. And obviously the first thing is Happy New Year. The second thing is I wanted to share something with you because this question came up off the back of, I think it might have been one of the Growth Tribes podcasts that I just did recently with Harminder Toor on goal setting, or it might be to do with a short video or a live video I did over the Christmas period. But anyway, I had a couple of questions from people to say, hey, Dr. Rowe, what do you do? How do you deal with a situation when you started the new year, you're all excited. Hi, Timothy, nice to see you. You're all excited and pumped about starting the new year. You've got all these great goals and aspirations. And then you get hit with a boom, an early setback, something that just fucks you up, something that just comes left or, it's your second, third day of the year, first week of the year, and then bang, you just get slapped with a complete setback. And you haven't really got into your stride of the new year yet. You're still celebrating from the end of the last year. You're aspirational, you're pumped. How do you deal with that? And I thought it was quite an interesting question because exactly that's happened to me literally today, stroke yesterday. We've got a valuation going on one of the properties, and what happened is it came back with a structural question mark over the integrity of the property, and the result of that is that the valuations come back with a zero valuation, which is really odd. Now, we're obviously going to look into that, but I want to talk to you about how you deal with these things when they hit you early. Remember, when you're in the flow of something, a human being is a little bit like a steam train or a locomotive or one of these juggernauts that's pulling, like a road train in Australia, pulling a whole bunch of different carriages. Initially, there's inertia. And inertia exists within all of us. You get this revving up, you're all set to go, you put your foot down on the throttle, you go into your first gear. But when you're pulling a mass, and the mass is your aspiration, the goal, all the people that you've got around you possibly, plus you've got to move this initial step forward, what can often happen is you haven't picked up momentum yet. So when you face a challenge or a goal or a setback, when it hits you and you're in full flow, you've got up to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, and you're in a huge juggernaut and you're moving with mass now, and you've got this consistency of weight and speed behind you, when you hit a setback, you tend to just plow through it. And the reason for that is because you've got this incredible momentum, which is why whenever people come to see me, whether it's on the Total Transformation seminars, keep an eye out for that, by the way, because we've got a really exciting one coming up this year, going to be announcing that. Listen out for that. Turning Point has finished. However, I'm excited to tell you, but we have an event called Beyond Turning Point. Well, that's not the name of it, but that's effectively what it's going to be. And I'm really pumped about that. So start spreading the word for those of you that haven't been able to come and join me in the past or are wanting to, or have been with me but want to come through another experience. Look out for that one. So the point here is that as you move forward into the year, you're going to hit a point of absolute momentum. So when something hits you, like a setback, you kind of plow through it. But when you're just starting out, you're in your first gear, you're just in the first few days of the year, and something, and you hit something, and it just boom. You haven't quite got optimum speed yet, you haven't got terminal velocity, you haven't got the momentum, and you get hit with a setback. So there's 4 things I'm going to suggest that you do. And this happens anytime, by the way, but it's certainly useful right now. So the minute you get a setback, first thing to do is get a piece of paper, ideally get your journal, if you've got a business journal, whatever it is, a project journal, get your pen out or get your stylus out, however you operate, and write down on paper and define exactly what the problem is. Rather than mull over it in your brain, mull over it in your heart, let your stomach start to churn and get all anxious about it. Rather than get too wrapped up with all the possibilities in your head that typically we do, we tend to go, start thinking, oh my God, what about this? Fuck, what if this happens? What if this happens? Shit. How do I deal with this? Actually capture it on paper and define it clearly. This is the situation. So in my case, value has come back, put a question mark over the structural integrity of the property. This has led to a question mark over the valuation. And at this stage, isn't prepared to value the property and is suggesting the following things. Okay, so there's a definition there of whatever the problem is. Now, that's step 1. By the way, when you do that, you tend to go like this. Okay, so that's the challenge I'm facing. It's down on paper. I can actually see it. If this is making any sense, give me a wave or give me a yes or something. but you actually let off steam. The problem with an issue when it hits you early and you're in the process of just picking up momentum is that you're looking ahead to try and get the direction to where you want to get to 2020. I want to plow into the future. And suddenly this thing comes right in front of your line of sight, just there. And all you can see is nothing. So your brain's going, and so you start to look down. And before you know it, the reason that you lose that momentum is because you take your foot off the accelerator. Think about it for a minute. As you look down, you tend to take your energy away from the flow moving forward. And that just hits you with a curveball. So capturing it on paper moves it off to the side, allows you to keep looking forward, but allows you to keep part of your focus on what do I do next. So that's step one. Step two is, have I got some influence? Can I have some control over this problem? Is this an external problem that I've got no control over? Is this a setback that I'm absolutely got no control over? Or do I have something in this situation that I can control? Now, this is a really valuable self-coaching question. I can promise you this. Anytime you're faced with a challenge like this, if you can just look at it and self-coach and say, right, have I got the opportunity here? Do I have the capacity? Do I have the aptitude? Is this within my control? I'm just giving you lots of different questions I might ask if I was coaching you now. And if you join me on the Growth Tribes, those of you who haven't gone and joined me before or haven't been through it, go to www.growthtribes.com. Go have a look there. And if you get a chance, come and spend some time in the Growth Tribes community with me there, because this is where I can do coaching with you. I'm actually going to be doing this next week with a gentleman who's got a coaching session with me live in front of the group there online, and we're going to be talking about money. So I tend to ask these questions, and if you drill through enough questions, you'll unlock the person's challenge. So I'm asking the question, do I have control here? Is this something that I can influence? Actually, yes, it is. There's certain things I specifically can do here to help solve or control or bring this situation back into my control. So that's the second step. The third step then involves a who and a what. Who needs to be involved to help me solve this, and what does that involvement mean? So what do I need to do? What do they need to do? Now, this is a really big step, because it might be that you're absolutely at capacity right now. You're starting off your journey for 2020. There's loads of stuff going on, and you're thinking, what do I need to do? So in fact, when I got the message, which I did do literally about an hour ago from my PA, this is a situation, this has just come up. What do you think, Ro? What do you want to do? I immediately went back and said, okay, my thoughts are the following, A, B, and C. And what that's enabled her to do in my absence whilst I'm overseas here is to start to pick up the reins. And she's been able to take action. So my step 3 was, who can get involved with this? And what can I ask them to do, or ask to see if they can give me their opinion on it? Now, by the time I get back to the UK, hopefully we'll have some next steps forward, because ultimately there's a solution to every problem. It's just knowing what the stages are and the steps are you need to go through to overcome that. So step 1, define it, be clear on it. Step 2, can I have some control over it? Can I have some impact on it? Is this something outside my control or inside my control? And if so, what would those things be? Step 3 then is, who needs to be involved and what needs to be done, by them or by me? And then the fourth thing is, what is the next step? What is the next thing I can do simply to move forward, to get some action, to physically get momentum and keep them? Because I've taken my foot off the throttle now, the accelerator, and I'm looking down. Now I've got to go back up. What's the next step to get my accelerator down and to start to move forward? What is the single next step that helps me overcome that challenge, that problem? And if you do that, that'll genuinely help you overcome these early setbacks. And I promise you, if you've set goals, you're not going to have any freaking setbacks if you've set no goals. You've got no story to tell at the end of this year if you've set no goals to start with. Think about it just for a moment. If you get to the end of 2020 and you go, and somebody says, how's your year? And you go, yeah, fuck, man, it was, I started the year and I kind of ambled through the year and I got to the end of the year and nothing really, no setbacks, no challenges, didn't really do much, but hey, that's not really a story. You want to tell a story, you're going to have challenges. That's just part of the nature. It's the classic movie script. It's dream, struggle, and then victory at the end. So as you start the year off with your dreams, anticipate there will be challenges and struggles and setbacks, but know how to overcome them. If you get a chance to join me, please do so. Look out for the up-and-coming events that are coming up soon. I'm really pumped for the very fact that we're going to be doing this incredible personal development event. I haven't done one for 3 years now. It's going to be coming up to 3 years. We had 300 people in the room last time we did this, and a lot of people are asking, so start to spread the word. And secondly, come and join me on www.growthtribes.com, or go to my website, www.drro.tv, or at drro.tv if you want to come and see me on Instagram as well. Have a great start to the new year. And now you've got 4 steps how to overcome setbacks. Dr. Rowe signing out. Take care. Bye.